Chinese delegations are all set to continue trade talks in Madrid for a second day. The discussions are primarily focusing on trade issues, national security and the ownership of the video sharing app TikTok. U.S. Trade Secretary Scott Bessent is leading the U.S. delegation, while the Chinese side is led by Vice Premier He Lifeng. At the start of the second day of talks, U.S. Treasury Secretary said that in fact China is approaching the TikTok issue very aggressively, but the U.S. will not compromise on national security matters. He also added that an agreement on TikTok is very close, and even if the parties do not reach an agreement on the issue, it will not impact U.S.-China relations. The United States government, meanwhile, has expressed concerns that the Chinese government could use TikTok to access sensitive data from American users, pressuring the parent company, ByteDance, to sell its American operations. This marks the fourth high-level meeting in the last 4 months. U.S. Treasury Secretary Bessent has stressed that ties with China are strong and at the highest level.
We made very good progress on the technical details of the agreement. In terms of the agreement, the overall agreement itself, our Chinese counterparts have come with very aggressive asks. We will see if we can get there. At present, we are not willing to sacrifice our national security for a social media app. And we will see where we get today. I think on the TikTok deal itself, we're very close, or we've resolved the issue. There are a range of other asks that are unresolved.
Jayjeet Bhattacharya, economist, is in fact joining us live on the broadcast now. Jayjeet Bhattacharya, talks, of course, are going to be continuing today between U.S. and China delegations in Madrid. What are the issues you believe, Jayjeet, are dominating these deliberations?
You know, the U.S. has got a very sweet deal from Europe, where they've got applied 15% duty on all European imports, and they've got access to the European market at zero duty. The U.S. would like to replicate that model. So that's one of the biggest issues, and where China feels that's unfair. There has to be reciprocal duties in place. The second large issue is the issue of security. Now, with TikTok being the center of the conversation, it's one of the most unique trade conversations that's happening. Such a conversation did not happen with the EU or with UK, which are the trade deals that the US had signed. Now, what is the problem with TikTok is that it can be used for widespread surveillance and of capturing data and of knowing the details of every single citizen of the US. And that's scary for US because the US itself has big tech such as the Google and the Apples of the world, which they know can potentially be used for the same purpose, and which they may or may not already be using for the same purpose. And therefore, the US does not want China to have a similar tool, and hence the pressurization that China must let TikTok go and let it have an American owner. In addition to the background of this conversation that's happening between the US and China, there has been significant global repercussions because China has not been able to enter or access the US market. There has been widespread dumping of Chinese products in the rest of the world. I mean, products like beta-naphtol, glass fiber, they have been dumped into countries like India. They've also tried putting a choke on minerals that they control. We're all aware of the rare earth metals that the China has put a choke on, which has really brought down the automobile industry of the US. It's impacting the industries in the rest of the world. It's impacting the automobile industry and the two-wheelers in India. Similarly, the choke on germanium tetrachloride is impacting the fiber optic industry in India and globally, and so on and so forth. Poorer quality products like insoluble sulfur is being pumped in the rest of the world, including India, which is leading to accidents happening because the tire burst. So those are the background conversations that are going on, which makes it very, very important that the China-US trade deal happens so that things go back to normal and China does not aggressively dump products and goods onto the rest of the world. And that makes this conversation very significant.
How much so is TikTok dominating the discussions, and how close do you believe they are to finalizing that pricking issue, because the deadlines on TikTok have just been, lapsing and being extended continuously?
See, from the language used, it seems that the US does not seem to be very hopeful that they will force China into selling off TikTok, because the language gives an escape route, saying that even if that does not happen, the US China relationships will be on very good grounds. So that's a escape route that has been built into the language that was used by the US side of the trade negotiations. So my guess is that it'll be difficult for the US to get China to sell off the US operations of TikTok. Imagine if China says, sell me the Chinese operations of Google to a Chinese company. Well, that will not be acceptable to the US. Similarly, it will be very difficult to believe that China will accept TikTok being broken down and the US operations being sold off. It also has major implications in terms of how big tech will run in the rest of the world. I mean, the next step could be India asking for something similar, not just from China, but from other big techs in the rest of the world. Imagine India asking the US to break its Facebook and have an India version of Facebook. Well, those